Hello everyone, this is Instructor AK from EK Technology. Thank you very much for watching this video. Today I will be covering day 2, how to do a basic configuration router. And as you can see, we'll be covering the chapter Cisco Certified Network Associate 200-301 paper. And I'm going to go also another view of it, the images, which is Cisco Certified CCNA 200 and 301. I'm going to open now Cisco Packet Tracer Instructor. Well, you can even download it for your practice purposes. So what is the version of it? You can have a look. The version is 6.1, 6.7, 6.8. There's so many versions out there in a website. Please download it and please keep practicing over and over again. So you can practice it over and over again. So now I'm gonna cut this box. So now I'm gonna briefly explain to you the router. As you can see, I can drag and drop one router, which is 1841 router, and once you clicked it in there, you can see the physical device, the view of it, right? As you can see over here, there are two serial port over here in order to function more router attached. If you want to do more than one router, you have to get another serial interface and place it over here. And then of course the switch is turned on, you can turn off. You can see that green light turn on and off, right? You can see there are little ports, Ethernet cable consoles, right? That's how does it look like. And you can zoom it in, you can see more in briefly. And I'm gonna go towards size, and there are more modules in order to work different sectors in the router. So the configure a router to make your network like more in 100% complete. So what I'm explaining to you that you need to configure the router so that it can communicate with your network components after accessing the router. It's asking for a password. You have to implement password. You have to implement security things, so that that's how we go into the router and configure the router. Okay. And of course you need you see a web page displayed. The web page is really the router configuration program. So everything work with router configuration. So over here you can see the CLI mode, which is the iOS command line interface. So that's how all the command you start with this box, and from these commands you start your protocols, your rules, you set up millions router connecting each other, sending data transfer. So this is the console you have to follow it up. Okay, let's go back to the physical device view. So I'm going to turn off the switch, and also I'm going to turn on the switch back. Right, you see that the self the decompressing the images, which is restart the system. Okay, so I'll come back briefly in ahead. So let me just cross it off. So there are more kind of questions like you may raise in your brain, which is like, what are these steps to configure a router, and how do I configure my router, and what are the steps in installing a Cisco packet tracer Instructor, the lab, and also what is my router IP. So I will explaining to you briefly more ahead. You don't have to worry about it. It will be easier for you to understand and everything. So that Cisco packet tracer, Cisco packet tracer. As you can see, Cisco packet tracer download. So once you clicked it, then you can see that download Cisco packet tracer Windows Free 7.2.1. This is the latest version, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, the latest version, which is 7.3. So that's how we're going to find out more latest version in there. As you can see that, download versions over here. You can click it, and that's how you download it, and you start your packet tracer, lab working and configuring your own way to do your, set up the routing, switching, computer, and so on. Okay. So that's how the you install the Cisco packet tracer. And like what is IP address and everything I have mentioned to you a while ago. There are so many things in IP address, so much IP address, and your each devices contain IP address, MAC address, and so many things. So last video, whoever did not attend the last video, also I'm going to go briefly back again and explain you into the command prompt how does um, the IP address and so many things into the command prompt in your own device. So ipconfig /all. Once you hit enter, then you can see it over here, which is IPv4. I have highlighted with my white mark. This is the IP address that I'm running in my own system. Subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.0. I have explained everything briefly last video. Please go last video and review on it. Then it'll be easy to understand what is the topics that I'm covering this session. Okay. So that's how does it look like, MAC address and everything. You can see it, physical address, IPv6 and everything, so on. So okay. So now I'm going to go explain you that how we work, configure the router and such as set up the rules. Okay. So I'm gonna take this off, and also I'm gonna leave it my lab as a fresh. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go to my lab that I have designed for you guys to be able to understand some kind of preview images where we understand. So guys, this is what I'm talking about: Cisco router configuration, a step-by-step guide. So as you can see over here, that there are two serial port, there are some kind of Ethernet port, consoles over here. So there are so many things, like there are each Cisco machines over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. There is a big rack, and each and everyone's office they have a rack, and that's how they design all the Cisco the machines inside. So that's how they look like, the wires and everything, and that's how you configurations your own router and so on. Okay. So I'm gonna go to my tool, if I can briefly a little more explaining to you guys, which is, as you can see that there are port console, and also there are serial port, power switch, power supply. I just showed you to the briefly the live lab Cisco packet tracer as compared to this one. How does it look like and everything. Once I clicked it, you can see the same thing, similar. So there's no difference at all. So you can practice it in this Cisco lab in order to do your learning purposes. Okay. So what is console port? The console port, like once you hook to your computer wire with this one, and that's how you configure your everything from your laptop or your desktop to this router. And as you can see, the first Ethernet ports, these are the two first Ethernet port in order to configuration purposes. That's a serial port, and same thing. There are many more ports over here as well. So I hope you got it where I'm coming from. Now let me explain you where I draw a little with my draw paint to be able to understand for you guys about the router switches and PC and everything. Okay. So now, as you can see here, this is my CPU, right? This is my CPU, and over here you can see I draw a serial, and this one is a LAN. So now, what happened? You can see over here console, serial, and Ethernet port, right? So that with the serial connections, you can connect in a console, and also with a LAN connection, you can also connect it with a console in order to configure your whole router system. Okay, so both of the ports you can connect with a console. And as you can see over here, serial port and Ethernet port. What does the serial port and Ethernet port do? So basically, this is, assume you can see a router I have drawn over here, the picture, and there's one cable connections. Okay, so my router, my second router, I have implemented with this router, which is with the serial port. So I have a two router. One is this one, right? Ethernet cable, which is runs for 10 megabits per second. first Ethernet. If you go higher, 100 megabits per second, there's a called gigabyte Ethernet, which is run for 1000 megabits per second, and 10 gig, which is runs for 10,000 megabytes per second. Okay, so there's a difference with the the cables runs. As you can see over here, they're called hyper terminal app. So in order to configure your router, you have to have a hyper terminal app. So throughout the app you can throughout the app you can configure your any such as router, from the LAN to the consoles, or maybe serial to consoles. From that's how it could be CPU, could be a laptop, and the versions over here, it could be any kind of versions, the router 1500, 2100, 2500, any kind of such as iOS could be. Okay, so implement one router here, two switches with my four computer, right? So in the New Jersey, I have one branch is here called account department, another branch is called HR department. Okay, so now I'm gonna get the cable right now, which is how you start your configuration. But in switch and computer, you don't have to do nothing. All you need, first Ethernet, connect with switch 0/0, and I have another Ethernet over here. First Ethernet 0/0. I have switch to computer. I have first Ethernet 0/3 computer. Same goes here. Same goes there. Well, once you download the Cisco package tracer, please review on it with all the components. As you can see, there is cable, then wireless device, hub, switch, router, and so many devices, and also the cable name. You hold it over here and you can see the console. You hold it over there, copper straight through cable, crossover cable, and so on. So okay, so I'm gonna put the IP address here, which is 10.0.0.1. I'm gonna put another IP address here, which is 10.0.0.2, and I'm gonna put another IP address here, which is 20.0.0.1. Another IP address, we could implement 20.0.0.2. okay. And of course you can see these are the IP address I have implemented from my the computer host, which is for computer. And now we have to have a the IP address for my router right now. Okay, so now we have 10.0.0.100. okay, so this IP address will be work for these okay, this network belongs to this IP address belongs to, which is all the way from here. Okay, so this is my gateway address. Okay, as you can see, one IP address belongs to this network, which is 10.0.0.100, and 10.0.0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to come up to 100. Okay, but the same network. Okay, so the same network, if I can explain here, 10.0.0.0.0, okay, /8. So I will explain you about this /8 and everything. That's purpose of the subnet mask. And there's a called CIDR value. which is stand for like classless interdomain routing. There are so many things. I'll come back in the next session about it. So now I'm going to explain you the gateway, why I mean the gateway. So suppose example, if you have a one house, right? In your house, you have entrance with one gate, right? Right? So with this house, if you enter the same house and you come out with the same house, right? That is the call gateway. So 10.0.0.100, that's called gateway, right? So if this computer want to ping this computer, you have to go through from this gateway, which is your gate, and then communicate from here to all the way here, 20, right? So this is the call gateway address. So without the gateway address, you cannot communicate. Okay. So if 10.10.0.0.1 want to communicate with 20, you have to pass through all the way 10.0.100 from that gateway all the way here. Okay, that's how it works. Okay. So I hope you understand how does the gateway work. That's the gateway. Okay. So now over here I implemented one gateway, right? We understand about this gateway, but to go this side of this account department, I need to have another account. I need to have another IP address, right? The IP address is not same address. It has to be different IP address to communicate, right? So I'm gonna type 20.0.0.200. Okay, that's my another the gateway for this route. Okay, so I have to explain you that wherever you work, any kind of such as company, could be scientific company, could be manufacturing company, could be Microsoft, IBM, Cisco, any company you work, this is the method that you'll be able to work and proceeding the same configuration system as anywhere else in the world. So now I have two gateway address. Okay, I have a two gateway address. One is 20.0.0 and one is 10.0.0.100. But the two gateway address cannot be same. It has to be different address to be able to communicate. Okay, so you must know that that two gateway address has to be different address to communicating with each other. Okay, so before I go there, I'm gonna implement this IP address to my computer. So I'm gonna click again. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna click this computer. I'm gonna go to desktop. I'm gonna go to the IP configuration. So what I implemented 10.0.0.1. Once you clicked it here, you will right away assign for you subnet mask, and I will explain to you subnet mask the next sessions. Then once you clicked here, that default gateway 10.0.0.100. As I mentioned to you, the gateway. See that I explained to you the gateway about what do you mean by gateway and stuff. So that's how they're asking again the same thing, the gateway. So without the gateway, you cannot exceed other side of the internet. Okay, that's how it works. So I've assigned it here. I'm gonna go assign this desktop 10.0.0.2 subnet mask. Once you hit in there, it'll automatically assign for you subnet mask. I have to put my default gateway 10.0.100. It remains same. You don't have to change. There is no such as other gateway for this computer because they both remain with the same gate. Okay. I'm gonna assign here the IP address 20.0.0.1. Same thing. The gateway is 20.0.0.200, and I'm gonna go to the next PC desktop IP address. and I'm going to go 20.0.0.2. I'm going to hit in there for subnet mask, pressed here, which is 20.0.0.200. That's my gateway for that, and I have to click it on it. So we have over here first Ethernet 0/0. Okay. Now, as you can see that, if I need one more router, another router, so I need this serial interface. So now for that, I don't need it, so I have to remove it. Okay, and I turn on my switch right now to configure my router right now. Okay, so guys, now I'm going to configure my two gateway into my one router so that these four computers can be communicating with each other. Okay. So now we have to know, first of all, why saying that continue with configuration dialog, yes or no. So yes stand for which is the wizard, which is of course that the router will indicating you that do this, do that, do move on to this, move on to that, put this code, put that code. So it will instruct you to do it however with router asking you to. But if you want to do with your way, customize your way, then you don't right here yes replace and no, and then you hit enter. It will take you to the router. This time you're gonna get it, and then you type enable, or the short form enable. You can write enable, or you can even type en. You hit, it will take you the router hash sign, another platform. Then you type here config t or configuration, configure terminal, whichever way. Okay, but in purpose of the short form, I'm going to press config t. Once you hit enter, you'll take you to the right away the configurations. Right now we start the configuring your IP address. So now I'm gonna go type on the first Ethernet from the gateway. So I'm gonna press interface. Okay, interface first Ethernet 0/0. Hit enter, and it will take you right away to the config dash if mode. Okay, and then right away you type in their IP address, and then we can see the IP address over here, the gateway 10.0.0.100, and our subnet mask 255.0.0.0 because stand for class A range. Then we're gonna hit enter. Sorry, the invalid detect is saying, because why? As you can see, I didn't put any space here. Okay, so I'm gonna retype again. I'm gonna cancel the 0 and put .0. Now I'm gonna hit enter. See, guys, it will take me right away to my another command platform. If it's wrong, it will tell you right away that it's invalid detected. Okay. Okay, you can even type here no shut, or you can press you can do even and shut that, because you see that there are switch to computer Ethernet port, it's already been connected. Okay, but this one is red sign, because why? That router to switch is not connected. Because why? Because that we did not configure the router and switch, because router and switch, there are two different devices. You have to enter the IP addresses to be able to configure the switch to the router, to the to your computer. Okay, that's why it's a red mark sign. Okay, so now once we type no shut, okay, we hit enter, and as you can see, that it's state up, change to a state up. Okay, now you can see over here the sign green. Okay, you'll automatically change the sign here too. Okay, you can type no shut or no shut down. Okay, whichever way. Okay, my line is right now is state up. Okay, it's green. Okay, so now I'm gonna go assign my this IP address 20.0.0.200 to be able to communicate with them. Okay, same thing, same goes, which is interface fa 0/0. Okay, I have to explain to you another thing, that before you go to any such as assign any IP address like how I'm doing it, you have to always type exit. Okay, that means you exit your this line. Now you're gonna go your this line, which is HR. Now you're gonna go to account department. Okay, so I typed exit. Now I'm gonna type here the interface fast Ethernet 0/1, because this one 0/1, and we put this one first Ethernet 0/0. So I'm gonna type here for you to be understand easily. First Ethernet 0/1. Okay. Okay. So now I'm gonna type here first Ethernet 0/1 hit. Now I'm gonna put IP address. What was my IP address? 20.0.0.200. My subnet mask 255.0.0.0, and we hit enter. Again, it's saying the invalid. I don't know why, just saying again, it's telling me that it's invalid. Guys, that's how we have to find out our problem, right? So over here, oh, you can see that I didn't mention IP address here. Okay, that's the reason. So I'm going to type here IP at. Okay. IP at. Now we hit enter, it'll take me right away my another platform, which is, it takes me. It means that you are right, you're assigning correct IP address. Okay. Now I'm going to type no shut down, because previous the 10.0.100 I implemented for you in, which is no shut, but now I'm gonna type for you no shutdown, so that you understand. Hit enter, your line stayed up. Okay, which is mean that your signal is green. Okay, so you configure your router, guys, you configure your router. Okay, router right away. So that's how you work, assign your router IP address and so on. So okay, so guys, what I'm explaining to you right now, that we have configured 10.0.0.100, 20.0.0.200 with all around with my HR department to account department. So now if you wanna check, wanna see that I wanna see my IP address, how does it configure, and how does it look like inside the router. So how you can go, you can type here exit, then you type you go to exit. Once you go to exit, then you it will take you to the config, which is the router config the slash sign. So now like this. Okay, so router config slash, you press Control Z. Okay, then right away you type there show run. Once you press show run, then you can able to press enter. to be able to see your router configuration. Okay, there guys, this is the first Ethernet, where you can see first Ethernet, my IP address 10.0.0.100, 10.0.0.100, and I assigned subnet mask, and it's a duplex auto speed. Also you can see the speed is auto. Then other way, first Ethernet 0/1, which is 20, and duplex auto, okay, and that over here no IP address shutdown. Why is it? Because of the switch. Now let me explain to you about the switch. We really do not have to put any IP address to the switch. Because why? Because we have to assign the IP address two components. One is a router and one is the machine, because we are putting this switch as a via to be able to communicate with the router to computer. So switch has nothing to do with the implement the interface. But yes, if you ask me that can I assign IP addresses, you can assign IP address, but only when you do work with a switch to device, okay, or switch to computer. But when it's routed there, then you work right away from computer to the gateway router to the computer. That's how we assign the IP address. IP understand? IP understand the whole configuration system, guys. Now I'm gonna go cross this one. Now I'm gonna get, just to test, I'm gonna get this message here, leave it here, and I want to try test that if 10 can work with, 10 can ping, send the data to 20. It's just telling me that it's failed. So you understand that why is it failed? We have to do it again. Right. Why is showing us fail? Because don't get panic, nervous that, oh, my router configuration wasn't successful because I did maybe mistake. So try to do second time, as you see it. So hold it, leave it here, leave it there. It's in progress. Failed. Do it again. Okay, now you can see it, my second time it's successful. Okay, so guys, as you can see, fully lab how to configure the basic the router configuration. As you can see, my account department, my HR department, in my New Jersey state, I have an office, and that's how I connected with each other. Okay, so I hope you understand this class, and please feel free to ask me any kind of such as questions if you have, so I'll be able to explain you more in details, okay, for any further classes if you need to ask. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. Stay tuned and stay safe. Thank you very much. Take care.